Hey everybody, it's your old buddy, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, today is April 16th, 2018. It's Patriots Day. I went to school in Boston for 2 years. Today's the day they have the marathon, and then they have the early baseball game. But this is show number 213, and the name of the show is Witch Hunt. And guys, you're probably starting to become very familiar with a new term called witch hunt. So let's listen and see.
Well, Governor Eric Greitens is using the term we've heard a lot lately, witch hunt.
That's right. He did indeed use that exact word.
And boy, Governor Eric Greitens is using the term we've heard a lot lately, witch hunt.
That's right. He did indeed use that exact word.
And boy, Governor Eric Greitens is using the term we've heard a lot lately, witch hunt.
That's right. He did indeed use that exact word.
That's right. He did use that exact word, witch hunt. Now, guys, that was Governor Eric Greeting from Missouri. We're going to get to him later in the show, but you're going to start to see how this term witch hunt is being used by anything that isn't Republican. When anybody goes to investigate a Republican, it's an automatic witch hunt. So guys, when I was growing up, we only had one type of witch. And Judy, let's have a look at what the wicked there's the old Wicked Witch of the West. And guys, you know, now there's a new witch in town. You'll see the old witch had a green face and they wore the big hat and she had the pimple on her cheek and everything. But notice how green she was. The new witch has orange hair. Look, we need a little volume on this, Kurt. Judy, let's try that again, please. Here's the new witch with the orange hair. Let the whole clip play. Guys, this is going to be the cover of Time magazine. This is going to be, Judy, is that the whole clip? Wow, because I thought I edited to the point. All right, come back to me. Guys, that's going to be on the cover of Time magazine. And it's just unbelievable. But, you know, there's this term, you know, witch hunt, and you hear it over and over again. And I want to give Trump the business because, you know, whenever anything doesn't go right, it's a witch hunt. And let's just see, you know, everything with Trump, it always seems like he's under attack. And he just had a big interview with James Comey. And Comey says that he doesn't think Trump is mentally fit to be president. But rather than me tell you, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. So Judy, clip number 3, please.
You write that President Trump is unethical, untethered to the truth.
Untethered to
Is
the
Donald
truth.
Trump unfit to be president?
Unfit to be president.
Yes, but not in the way I often hear people talk about it. I don't buy the stuff about him being mentally incompetent or early stages of dementia. He strikes me as a person of above average intelligence who's tracking conversations and knows what's going on. I don't think he's medically unfit to be president. I think he's morally unfit to be president.
I don't think he's medically unfit to be president. I think he's morally unfit. And guys, that's what we want to point out tonight. I mean, you know, the deeper we go into the show, you're going to go, wow, he really is crazy. But we're going to show you how other people are starting to get on the witch hunt bandwagon. You know? Oh, it's a witch hunt. I didn't do nothing. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that tonight. So let's see. The first clip we're going to do, we're going to start, and just listen to how many times Trump and Trump's associates and everybody just uses the same words over and over again. So Judy, clip 4, please.
A pure and simple witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt.
Today, federal agents raided the home and office of President Trump's personal attorney.
Witch hunt,
Witch hunt.
witch hunt, witch hunt.
Witch hunt.
A former lawyer is now the first person sentenced in special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation.
And I have this witch hunt constantly going on for over 12 months now.
Former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates is expected to plead guilty today.
Witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt.
The major indictment unfolding today in the Russia investigation, 13 Russian nationals and 3 Russian companies accused of a massive effort to meddle in the election.
The Russia investigation, politically motivated witch hunt.
There are new charges tonight against the president's former campaign chairman and a longtime business associate.
Pure and simple witch hunt.
Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, says that he is cooperating with the special counsel's probe into possible cooperation between the Trump campaign and the Russian government.
To me, it's without a question, reads and smells like a witch hunt.
The strongest evidence yet of possible collusion, with details of how this Trump campaign advisor, 30-year-old George Papadopoulos, worked with suspected Russian agents and then denied it to the FBI.
And we'll explain why this investigation is nothing more than a witch hunt.
Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort and his business partner Rick Gates appeared in federal court in Washington and pleaded not guilty after being indicted today to charges that include fraud, money laundering, tax evasion, and failure to register as an agent of a foreign government.
Well, I respect the move, but the entire thing has been a witch hunt, and there is no collusion.
So there's no collusion and there's no witch hunt. So guys, let's see what clip number 5 tells us. Judy?
And he's calling this a political witch hunt, but this report came from largely members of his own party.
That's right. 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats wrote this report, which is why you're not hearing him basically say it's all politics.
So guys, now it's a bipartisan witch hunt. And we're going to show you the whole clip on that later. But first, we have to figure out, how does this happen? How does Trump see something on Fox News and a half an hour later he tweets about it? And you wonder, where is Trump getting his information from? This guy has the best sources in the world. And where does he get his news and information from? Fox. And guys, everybody knows how much I love to hate Fox. And this is one of the reasons why. Now watch, guys, I tell you, they lay the cards on the table and you can't deny the evidence. You'll hear what Fox says and then they show you the time that he tweeted, his response. So Judy, let's prove our point with the Fox News feedback loop. Number 6.
The President of the United States spends hours of his day tweeting at the television. But here's the thing, Trump isn't coming up with his tweet ideas on his own. He's ripping a lot of them directly from Fox and Friends, the Fox News morning show that he watches almost every day, either live or on a slight delay. I've been comparing Trump's tweets with Fox's coverage almost every day since October 2017, and I can tell you that this Fox-Trump feedback loop is happening a lot more often than you'd think. Just look. When Fox reported on a House vote to renew a portion of the FISA Act, Trump tweeted 47 minutes later, undermining his own administration's position, complaining that the FISA Act may be the reason the Trump campaign was so badly surveilled. When Fox reported on Kim Jong-un's nuclear button, Trump tweeted 12 minutes later, threatening nuclear war and bragging about his much bigger button. When Fox reported on the Uranium One conspiracy theory, Trump tweeted an hour and 10 minutes later, calling it, quote, the biggest story that fake media doesn't want to follow. When Fox reported on former Clinton aide Huma Abedin, Trump tweeted an hour and 24 minutes later, calling for her to be jailed. When Fox reported on NFL players kneeling in protest during the national anthem, Trump tweeted 38 minutes later, bemoaning players' quote, total disrespect for our great country. The examples go on.
Companies that are giving bonuses to workers, raising their pay of their workers.
And on.
Build the wall and hire more agents for that particular area.
Where do you want the wall built?
And on.
To say,
We will not have a DACA deal unless you get me full funding for this southern wall.
Think about that for a second. A man with unparalleled access to the most powerful intelligence apparatus in the world prefers to get his information from people who once tried to roast marshmallows like this.
You're really going to do that with your hands?
Yeah, you're
not
right.
going to.
Upon further review, we're looking for a stone
head.
No, not plastic. That's banned from the environment. Oh,
well, these two...
This is unnerving for obvious reasons, but there's a serious key problem here. Trump's tweets are newsworthy, so media will and should report on what he says. But the public relies on the news media for accurate and reliable information. When the network that has spent years serving as the propaganda arm of the Republican Party is dictating what the rest of the media covers, we're all in serious trouble.
You got that right. We're in serious trouble when you got people that are trying to roast marshmallows with plastic spoons. Holy mackerel. Even the simple folk don't do that. Right, Uncle Joey? Guys, I give Uncle Joey the business, but Uncle Joey's a smart guy. He's just a Republican, you know. Aside from that, he's good people. And, you know, the Trump family, and I tell you, it's like they're a crime syndicate. And it's almost like they're part of the mafia. And, you know, hey, my last name is Frasconi. I'm a nice Italian boy. But I tell you, Trump makes some of the old mafia stuff looks meek because everything is done now with lawyers, and you'll see how. But anyway, Judy, let's introduce ourselves to the Trump crime family with number 7, please.
You said as this was happening, you had a flashback to your early days as a prosecutor.
I had a flashback to my days investigating the mafia, La Cosa Nostra.
Decades earlier, Comey learned about La Cosa Nostra, our thing in Italian, as a U.S. attorney prosecuting the Gambino crime family headed by John Gotti. In the mafia, a man is measured by the strength of his loyalty.
There's a distinction between a friend of yours and a friend of ours. I felt this effort to make us all, and maybe this wasn't their intention, but it's the way it felt to me, to make us all Amica Nostra. We're all part of the messaging. We're all part of the effort. The boss is at the head of the table, and we're going to figure out together how to do this.
How strange is it for you to sit here and compare the president to a mob boss?
Very strange. And I don't do it lightly. And I'm not trying to, by the way, suggest that President Trump is out breaking legs and shaking down shopkeepers. But instead what I'm talking about is that leadership culture constantly comes back to me when I think about my experience with the Trump administration.
Do you think you should have said something then?
Maybe.
It's almost like it's the mob. That's what, you know, Trump is trying to run. And, you know, when somebody comes up with an accusation of something like that, what does Fox News always do? They always push back, don't they? And how are they going to push back? They're going to mention Hillary. They got Hillary on the head, Hillary in the head, and they got Obama on the brain. And whenever anybody gives a Republican a hard time, what do? They push back. And watch how they do it. And watch Hannity. And Hannity's... I tell you, Hannity's got this down to a science. He's good. He's a pro. He's a professional foxstitute. And I mean, that's what these guys do. Why they want to promote this is beyond me. I mean, you know, you couldn't pay me enough money. Well, maybe you could. I don't know if I could. I don't think I could do it. But guys, let's see how they push back. And with clip number 8. So Judy, let's have some fun.
All right, it's the moment liberals, the Trump-hating press have been so anxiously waiting for. Former disgraced FBI Director James Comey is ready to cash in on his very public hatred for President Donald Trump. Now, his book tour kicks off on Sunday. We couldn't have scripted this any better. He's sitting down for his first interview with Clinton sycophant turned ABC so-called news journalist George Stephanopoulos. Watch this promo they're running.
How strange is it for you to sit here and compare the president to a mob boss?
This Sunday night on ABC.
Are there things that you know but haven't said that could damage President Trump?
James Comey.
And to those who say you should have brought Hillary Clinton before a grand jury?
The exclusive interview everyone will be talking about.
Was President Trump obstructing justice? Should Donald Trump be impeached?
Stephanopoulos. Comey. This Sunday night at a special time, 10/9 Central on ABC.
Really? Mob boss. Let's think about this. Of all the people, the former head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the person responsible for taking down actual deadly criminal gangs, shouldn't James Comey know better to make an outrageous comparison like that? Now, since Comey clearly doesn't know what he's talking about, we're going to remind the former FBI director what an actual mob boss looks like. Like, for example, Al Capone. Remember? Notorious gangster, organized the illicit gambling, prostitution, tax evasion, and, of course, was responsible for an untold number of murders, including 7 people in one day, which is now famously known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And we got, Lucky Luciano. He was responsible for widespread extortion, prostitution rings, bootlegging, and also murder. And last but not least, we can go on all night. Look at John Gotti, convicted of 13 murders, also involved in racketeering, tax evasion, illicit gambling, and, of course, obstruction of justice. So, Mr. Comey, you're really going to compare the sitting president of the United States to a mob boss so you can make money? People that are tied to murder, drugs, money laundering, extortion, prostitution, loan sharking, and all sorts of other racketeering crimes. Now, why are you doing this? Just to make yourself look good? Do you really need the extra money? Just to become rich and famous? Just to make your point that you don't like Donald Trump? Now, I guess since Comey, if he's going to use this sweeping analogy, I've decided tonight we're going to use the Comey standard, I call it, and make some comparisons of our own. Now, if Comey thinks Trump is a mob boss, if he is in his eyes, well, let's talk about a family responsible for actual crimes. We'll call it the head of the notorious political cabal, of course, Bill and Hillary Clinton, the Clinton crime family.
Guys, you see how it's done? You see how it's done? So you divert your attention from what's really going on, and then you want to bring it back and blame it on Hillary. Right? But guys, if there's one thing that we can prove, it's the Trump scandals. And you're going to say, Rich, this ought to be good. Well, guys, this is good because it's one after the other. And, I was going to say you can't argue with him, but people like Uncle Joey and some of my other friends on Facebook, and I'll get to them on the backside because I tell you, I'm having so much fun on Facebook with some of the simple folk. And they're a pleasure I love to chat with them or whatever we do, but I tell you, to me, it makes my day. So I'll say hi to everybody on the flip side when we come back. So Judy, let's see what kind of scandals Trump is involved with. Clip number 9, please.
Massive deals.
Financial ties, domestic violence, hush money payment.
Conspiracy and tax charges.
Illegal payments.
Conflict of interest. Congratulating Putin.
Lying to the FBI.
We are going to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C.
Day one of the Trump administration saw his press secretary lying about crowd size.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period.
Prices to join President Donald Trump's Palm Beach resort have doubled since his White House win.
14 months into the Trump administration and already 6 cabinet members under scrutiny for misusing taxpayer money.
The head of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention steps down. She resigned due to her complex financial interest.
The Secretary of Health and Human Services is out. It comes after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of your money on luxury jets.
Spending more than $12,000 on a single flight.
Questions about an unusual request to use a military jet for his European honeymoon. $31,000 on a new dining room set for Secretary Carson's office.
David Shulkin using taxpayer money to fly his wife to Europe.
$139,000 spent on new doors.
More than $105,000 on first-class flights. 8
separate trips on military aircraft at a total of nearly $1 million.
Conway broke the rules promoting the fashion line owned by President Trump's oldest daughter.
I'm going to give a free commercial here. Go buy it today, everybody. You can find it online.
President Donald Trump has removed Anthony Scaramucci as communications director.
This was a jaw-dropper. It was a profanity-laced tirade.
The most disgusting thing he said, I'm not Steve Bannon. I'm not going to
suck my own.
Michael Flynn forced to resign for not telling the truth about his contacts with the Russian ambassador.
Paul Manafort, former Trump campaign chairman, is now a criminal defendant.
Manafort and his protege Gates indicted by federal grand jury on 12 counts.
30-year-old George Papadopoulos worked with suspected Russian agents and then denied it to the FBI.
And I did not have communications with the Russians.
Jeff Sessions, in fact, met twice with the Russian ambassador to the United States.
And my staff recommended recusal.
Two of Rob Porter's ex-wives accused him of abuse.
A lawyer for President Trump arranged a hefty payment to an adult film star.
We need to get the best and the finest, and if we don't, we'll be in trouble for a long period of time, and maybe never come out of it.
Just found out Obama had my quote-unquote wires tapped.
The president informed Comey that he's been terminated. President Trump, it says, acted based on the clear recommendations of both the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, as well as the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions.
I was going to fire Comey. My decision. It was not...
You had made the decision before they came in.
I was going to fire Comey.
President Trump shared highly classified intelligence with Russian diplomats.
A June 26 meeting between Donald Trump Jr. and a Russian lawyer.
Ivanka Trump once again faces questions about whether she is personally profiting from her White House role. The Chinese government granted her company 3 new trademarks on April 6th. Hours later, she dined with the Chinese president at her father's Mar-a-Lago resort.
Ivanka Trump using a personal email account for government work, and her husband, Jared Kushner, using a private email account for government business for months this year.
Federal prosecutors are investigating the family business of the president's son-in-law.
Jared Kushner has revealed he inadvertently omitted 77 assets from his personal financial disclosure forms.
And Kushner's alleged plan to set up back-channel communications with the Russian government.
Jared Kushner is coming under scrutiny again for not revealing again that a Russian banker and Putin ally who's been linked to organized crime reached out to the Trump campaign.
Jared Kushner has had his security clearance significantly downgraded.
He failed to disclose ties to a firm linked with top Russian oligarchs.
Carl Icahn, former advisor and close friend of the president. He saved himself $6 million.
He has visited one of his golf courses 87 times as president.
New report of an alleged affair between a Playboy playmate and Donald Trump.
Forbes is reporting that Donald Trump actually shifted some of that.
It's like they don't care. Hey, we're in power. We don't care. We can do whatever we want. And to see Kellyanne Conjob sell from the floor of the White House with the White House ensemble behind her, you know, the picture. I mean, just to go on her website and buy. What is it with these people? But you know, the one thing that Trump hates is he hates it when we give him Pinocchios. So guess what, guys? If there's one thing I love doing, it's giving Trump Pinocchios. So Judy, clip 10, please.
Oh, believe me, if it's off by 1/100%, it's like I end up getting Pinocchios.
If you stop lying, you won't get Pinocchios.
We're the highest taxed nation in the world. We're one of the highest taxed nations in the world. We're the highest taxed nation. We are the highest taxed nation in the developed world, and I think the undeveloped world too.
Uh-oh. Before the new tax law, the Pew Research Center using 214 data found that tax...
The Russia's a phony story. All you see is the Russia story. Russia is fake news. This Russia thing with Trump and Russia, you know, you can talk all you want about Russia. They do the Russia, the faux Russia. I call it the fake Russia story. It's an excuse for the Democrats losing the election. So they made up this Russia thing to try and deflect because they're embarrassed by what happened.
Whoops, wrong again. High confidence in
Obamacare is a disaster.
Obamacare is a disaster. You have to remember.
Obamacare is a wreck. It's a mess. The disaster known as Obamacare.
It's the worst anybody's ever seen.
The Obamacare disaster. Disaster known as... That was easy.
The sheep repeat what they're told. It's not a total disaster and is expected to remain stable for the foreseeable future.
I will tell you, it's the biggest
CBO.
reduction in taxes in the history of this country.
This is the largest
tax cut ever.
ever approved or
Largest
ever.
tax
It
cut
will be
ever?
the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country.
The biggest tax cut, biggest reform of all time.
Of all time. Uh-oh. You mean he lied again? Trump's tax cut is only the 8th largest tax cut and is smaller than
Take a
two
look at
tax
what's
cuts
going on in
passed
Michigan.
under Obama.
With Ford and General Motors and Fiat
Uncle
Chrysler. Ford has been phenomenal.
And I want to thank Ford, General Motors, so many of them. Ford announced last week, Ford announced it will abandon its plans to build a new factory in Mexico.
We have Toyota. We have big car companies coming back in.
Because of our tax cuts, Apple.
And 2 days ago, ExxonMobil, in addition to many others.
Trump took credit for business decisions made before he took office. Anything
Better
else?
say
new,
think,
guys?
otherwise they'll give you a Pinocchio. And I don't like those. I don't like Pinocchios.
You don't like Pinocchios. You know what? If he stopped lying, he wouldn't get Pinocchios. But guys, I think it's just, it's so bad. He's so delusional. I don't think he knows when he's lying. And the people he surrounded himself with, they're not going to say anything. They want that fat paycheck. They want to be able to say they stayed in the White House. But guys, I tell you, things are really getting bad. And Alex Jones got so upset by what Trump's done that he actually started crying. So when Alex Jones starts crying, you know the Republican Party is in a world of hurt. So Judy, clip 11, please.
You know, stop supporting Trump. And it's the opposite of what my ex-wife says. She says, you know,
Trump. What?
Oh, the system took the kids away from me. No, you got the kids back because of who I was part of the time. And then they sit there and they're like, you know, if you just turn against Trump, things will be better. But he was doing good, and that's what makes it so bad. Oh, and that's what makes it so bad. If he'd have been a piece of crap from the beginning, it wouldn't be so bad. But we made so many sacrifices. And now he's crapping all over us. It makes me sick.
Guys, the worst part is he's a terrible actor. You know what I mean? But I tell you, if you ever want to have some fun, watch some of his clips. I'm telling you, he's so far off the wall. He makes Uncle Joey look normal. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not. Oh, and speaking of people off the wall, I want to say hi to Joanne Brainin Levy. Her and I have been going back and forth about global warming. And you know what? And Joanne, I'm going to say this just so you understand it. Guys, we've been going back and forth, and I finally sent her some charts from NASA. And, you know, now all of a sudden the conversation's kind of abruptly ended. So if you ever want to shut up a global warming denier, just show them charts. They don't know how to handle it. Why? Because it's visual evidence. And whenever you can show a chart, and you'll shut up the simple folk. It's that simple. You know, charts don't lie, thermometers don't lie, satellites don't lie, NASA doesn't lie, the National Academy of Sciences doesn't lie, the Paris Climate Agreement doesn't lie. So Joanne, hopefully, from now on, You won't make a fool out of yourself and embarrass yourself when you try to deny global warming, because it's a fact. It's like evolution. It's a fact. Sorry, you can believe whatever you want, but you can't argue with science. And guys, you saw how Alex Jones cried, right? Well, I tell you, Hassan the Hun, one of my favorites from the Young Turks, he ties into Tommy. And, you know, we've done a couple of things about Tommy, and I want to tell you, she's an up-and-coming foxstitute. And he rips her a new one, and it's so much fun. And, guys, this is what we got to do. When somebody says something that's wrong, don't let them get away with it. What do we always say to people, and why do we surround ourselves with question marks? Be specific and cite your source. It's real simple. You shut up the simple folk right away. So, Judy, let's have some fun with Hassan the Hun with clip 12, please.
Well, for this one, folks.
Folks, back of my bullshit. It's a slow news day, and Tommy got access to Netflix, and boy, is she mad.
Last week on David Letterman's Netflix show, rap mogul and glorified ex-drug dealer of 14 years, Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z, took a swipe at President Trump.
We already know you don't like it when people of color speak their minds, Tommy, so let's see what statement made you so mad this time.
He's bringing out an ugly side of America that we wanted to believe was gone, and it's still here, and we still got to deal with it. We have to have the conversation.
That's it? This is what you're directing your fake outrage at today, Topanga? You're as quick to rap along to 21 Savage on your Instagram as I am to posting thirst traps with puppers on mine, and yet when a black rapper makes a reasonable statement that's nowhere near as terrible as some of the things that Fox News has said about Barack Obama or black people in general, you lose your shit? God, even your racism is recycled, tomato. This is identical to Laura Ingram's racist statements after LeBron dared voice his criticisms about Donald Trump.
Shut up and dribble.
Wait a minute. Tommy, are you trying to take over Laura's spot on Fox News after she was forced to go on vacation for bullying a school shooting survivor? Smart.
Wait. Donald Trump is bringing out the ugly side of America? How so? Consistent economic growth?
Yup, look at all this economic growth, baby. Look at this guy cut down by a hail of economic growth.
The lowest unemployment rate in 17 years?
Yeah, like when Donald Trump advocated for black NFL players to be fired for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired.
Which makes your next point even funnier.
How about the lowest black unemployment rate in 45 years?
You know when black unemployment was at its lowest? Slavery. That doesn't exactly mean that black people were doing a lot better back then, does it, Tommy? The problem isn't unemployment, it's labor exploitation. Wages aren't increasing proportionately, but you never even address any of that anyway, because you don't actually care about black unemployment. You care about whitewashing your white nationalist president.
Please, Jay, tell us. You imply Donald Trump is a racist. Based on what?
Man, we gotta do a deep dive for this one. Oh, wait, it's everything he's ever said.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Like that one, or...
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Donald Trump has done everything short of saying the N-word. And to be honest, if he rolled out in a Klan robe, y'all would still rush to defend him. Be like, he's wearing his Halloween costume early, you snowflakes. Remember when Obama wore a tan suit? That was also offensive, but liberals criticized us for playing fashion police back then. Wow.
It seems to me this president is doing more for Americans of all races than you or your anointed one Barack Obama ever did.
At least Barack Obama didn't spear dick those same red state farmers with a Twitter tariff war, Tommy, and then ask them to take it, because patriotism in 2018 is blind loyalty to our supreme leader, or the anointed one, as you claim.
Donald Trump advances policies that actually help people pick themselves up and better their situation.
Yeah, like when he threatened the health care of millions just to explode Obamacare out of spite.
Ending key subsidies will speed up Obamacare's implosion and cost millions of Americans health coverage.
President Donald Trump goes to work every single day to make things better for every American.
Yeah, like when he pardoned racist Sheriff Joe Arpaio, or when he supported racist pedophile Roy Moore for Senate. That was for every American, except, you know, Americans of color, American children, American women, just basically every American. But back to you.
Jay-Z, it's pretty ironic you're suggesting Donald Trump is a racist when you campaigned campaign for Hillary Clinton. Remember that?
Yeah, remember Hillary Clinton, who ran for president?
That would be Hillary Clinton, the woman who called young black Americans super predators, the one who stood by Bill when he signed the $30 billion Clinton crime bill.
While I agree with this criticism of Clinton, at that time, Donald Trump took a full-page ad on the New York Times to call for the state execution of black and Latino teenagers in the Central Park 5 case, which the DNA evidence then exonerated, but Trump still stood by that decision up until like 2016. That Trump.
Please go back to rapping filthy lyrics and celebrating your drug-dealing resume and let Donald Trump make America great again for us all.
Please, how about you take your own advice, Tommy, and stop trying to shoot black people down for making reasonable statements about our racist-ass president. I'm Hassan Piker. If you like this video, please share it with all your friends against the misinformation. Please leave your favorite Tommy Lauren nicknames in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this conversation and want to continue it, please follow me live at twitch.tv/Hassan Piker every day, where I'll be live. Please don't forget to follow my Instagram at Hassan D. Piker, my Twitter at Hassan the Hun, and this has been The Breakdown.
Guys, you can see why I like him so much. He takes no prisoners, and that's the whole idea. You know, that's why I do the show. But the one person I'd love to see him go after is Judge Jeanine, because I want to tell you, she does nothing but try to incite the simple folk. You know, she wants to bring out the hate and the fear and get some kind of a reaction. And when you watch her, you're going to say, boy, she's evil. I mean, you know, there's something, just watch. I mean, I won't say another word, just watch. Judy, clip 13.
And so it was that Donald Trump stepped into the spotlight, a patriot who believed in putting America's interests first, who believed that the decline of America was a choice that we could reject. The American dream is now being renewed. We need to kill them. We need to kill them. Donald Trump is the only president with the guts to not only send the mother of all bombs into Afghanistan, to strike chemical weapon plants in Syria with surgical precision, but also go toe-to-toe with Kim Jong-un to the point where that wackadoo has become a laughing stock. He came to us at a time when we needed his tough talk, his unvarnished perspective. You want to criticize Donald Trump? Just shut up and go away. Democrats have so normalized hatred and violence against the President of the United States that I fear it will result in some crazy lefty trying to assassinate him. You now have an FBI and a Department of Justice that is beholding, for whatever reason, to the Clintons. The FBI needs a complete overhaul. There is a cleansing needed, a complete cleansing in our FBI and Department of Justice. Special counsel and former FBI Director Robert Mueller must be fired immediately. Cleansing. The Attorney General Rod Rosenstein must be fired immediately. Cleansing. The Special Counsel's office must be shut down. And Jim Comey. Cleansing. He needs to be the target of a federal criminal investigation. It needs to be cleansed of individuals who should not just be fired, but who need to be taken out in handcuffs. The FBI is the crime family. Take them out in cuffs. These people need to be taken out in cuffs. I've said it before, Sean, this is not our Justice Department. This is a bunch of arrogant, condescending people who think they know better than we do. And we're the fools that followed them down the path. This isn't about one defendant, one criminal, or one president. This is about our democracy. It's about law and order. It's about the republic. There's a time and place for everything. It's time to stop this psychopath.
So here I am in front of the woods in Chappaqua looking for Hillary. You think I'm going to find her? You think she's anywhere around?
Get out of here. All right. So, guys, is she an evil human? I mean, is that what you want to do for a living? Is that how you want to live your life? And I want to tell you, you know, we got some more good stuff coming, but let's get back to the very beginning where we said, you know, we wanted to talk about the witch hunt. So once again, let's see how the apple witch hunt doesn't fall far from the tree. Judy, let's have the Missouri governor. Clip number 14, please.
Now charged with a felony for invasion of privacy and facing a special investigation by a bipartisan Missouri House committee, the governor says he's the victim of a witch hunt.
He's the victim of a witch hunt. Unbelievable. Now, guys, now we're going to show you the whole clip. So, and we'll show from beginning to end. And guys, we're going to let you make the decision. But when you hear this guy, I tell you, I don't know what goes on with these politicians. You know, what could possibly go through their mind that make them do what they do? I just don't get it. And I mean, yeah, got to be honest with you guys. As I was growing up, I think we all engaged in stuff that wasn't 100% up to par. But I never thought of half the stuff these are some sick puppies. So Judy, let's have clip number 15.
Latest on that scandal facing the governor of Missouri. He is fighting back after the release of explosive new allegations about the extramarital affair that already has him facing a felony charge. Amy's here with that story. And boy, Governor Eric Greitens is using the term we've heard a lot lately, witch hunt.
That's right. He did indeed use that exact word. And the governor, once a rising star in the Republican Party, long ago, as you say, admitted having that affair with his hairstylist. But now a report from the state legislators claims that that affair began with a physically aggressive and unwanted sexual encounter initiated by the governor. This morning, Missouri Governor Eric Greitens facing new calls for his resignation as a newly released report includes allegations of forced sexual encounters between Greitens and the woman he admits having a months-long affair with before running for office in 2015.
We're not scared by their lies, and we are not afraid of their falsehoods.
Greitens always maintained the affair with his hairdresser was consensual, but she claimed he blackmailed her and her husband to stay silent. Now she's going a step further, saying he sexually assaulted her. He denies her claims, but in the more than 25-page report, including testimony from the governor's one-time mistress, she accuses the former Navy SEAL of forcing a bear hug after she was crying when she attempted to leave his basement before what she says was their first sexual encounter. Earlier, she says, he tore her shirt, exposing her against her will. She also accuses Greitens of striking her, spitting in her face, and calling her obscene names. Greitens, a once rising political star who swept into office promising family values,
I am a very proud husband and father.
Caught the attention of major Republican figures, including Donald Trump, even buying the domain ericgreitensforpresident.com. Now charged with a felony for invasion of privacy and facing a special investigation by a bipartisan Missouri House committee, the governor says he's the victim of a witch hunt.
This was a private mistake that has nothing to do with governing and shouldn't be about politics. But people are turning that personal mistake into a political spectacle and telling new lies about it.
Greitens and his lawyers zeroing in on a claim made by his former hairdresser and mistress that he snapped a photo of her while blindfolded and partially nude in that basement, something she says in her testimony she can't clearly remember seeing, describing it as like remembering it through a dream. Her attorney telling ABC News in a statement, instead of taking responsibility for his actions, Governor Greitens has decided to let his team attack my client by mischaracterizing her deposition testimony, adding, it is time to set the record straight. Greitens goes on trial next month on the invasion of privacy charge, and in the meantime, Missouri legislators are expanding their investigation and will make recommendations about whether to impeach him. And following the reports released, Greitens issued a statement saying this: the accusations published in the House committee's report will be directly contradicted by the facts that emerge in court in just 33 days. A court of law and a jury of my peers will let every person in Missouri know the truth and prove my innocence. So George will know some more in about a month.
A lot more coming on this. Amy, thanks. Dan Abrams back for more on this right now. So Dan, this legislative report raises the stakes politically. It raises the prospect of impeachment, but also potentially legally.
Oh, no question. I mean, this report indicates action that is far more serious than the criminal charges. I mean, he's saying, I'm looking forward to clearing my name in a court of law. The allegation against him in criminal court doesn't relate to what was in
one minor charge about the relatively minor.
The invasion of privacy. So he's facing criminal account for allegedly taking a picture of her nude without her consent and transmitting it. What this report indicates is sexual assault. He is not charged criminally with the sexual assault. And so, you know, there are two tracks here that he's got to be defending against, obviously the criminal one being the more important one.
Right, and the trial may come first. How does he defend himself against this allegation?
Well, look, first on the invasion of privacy, it has to be either I didn't take the picture or it was consensual. Because if he took the picture and it wasn't consensual and he transmitted it, there's no question.
And the question is, do prosecutors have the picture?
Well, I think there's no question they had the picture. I think the question is going to be, is he going to be able to prove he took it, and can they definitely say it was not consensual? The bigger question, again, about these much more serious allegations here will likely not be addressed in this criminal case. You could always add charges later, but for now, it seems those are going to remain in the political realm.
And he's calling this a political witch hunt, but this report came from largely members of his own party.
That's right. 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats wrote this report, which is why you're not hearing him basically say it's all politics. Because the problem is he can't really argue that. Look, they believe this was credible. That report makes it clear they viewed her account as credible. He's in a tough spot.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
I got other words to use for him. What, could you imagine? And then saying it was consensual? And you think a guy like this would hang his head in shame and not say a word. But these guys try to defend themselves. And that's why I always say on Facebook, what's right with these people? I mean, not really, what's right with them? I mean, the people that support the Republican Party is so far off the rail, it doesn't matter anymore. Alternate universe, alternate world, we live in an alternate universe. Facts don't matter. Science doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter. Nothing matters. And to make matters even worse, now we've got a new sheriff in town that wants to fight Fox News over the simple folk. Yeah. Sinclair Broadcasting Group, which we've featured the past couple of shows, because of what they're trying to do. Now they're trying to buy more local TV stations. And fortunately, there are none in Connecticut. I wish there were, because if there were, then we could go after them, which would really be a lot of fun. Can you imagine walking in front of a TV station, inviting them to come out? Hey, come out, let's talk. But you know what's going to happen, guys? Eventually, the local stations are going to rebel, and they're going to say, listen, we're not going to read the scripts that you're feeding us. We're not going to do it anymore. It's that simple. You know, don't send us the garbage because we ain't reading it. You know, we're a popular independent station because we cultivated our audience, and we cultivated them by telling them the truth. And we're not going to start to tell them the Republican bull. It's just that, it's that simple. So anyway, let's take a look at Sinclair and what you can do against Sinclair and where they are and what's really on their agenda. So Judy, let's have clip number 16, please.
Latest on that scandal facing the governor of Missouri. He is fighting back after the...
Sinclair's conservative takeover of local television is going to make this guy's path to re-election a whole lot easier. If you live in one of these states, you could be watching right-wing propaganda in your local news without even realizing it. If you haven't heard of Sinclair Broadcast Group, here's what you need to know. They're a Trump-friendly media company that is well known for pushing right-wing propaganda. They already own or operate more than 190 local stations across the country and are about to acquire Tribune Media, which owns or operates 42 broadcast stations. Trump's FCC has paused its review of the merger to help Sinclair get things in order so the deal can be approved. And this guy, Trump-appointed FCC Chairman Ajit Pai, is doing everything he can to keep the public in the dark about this deal in order to help Sinclair successfully acquire these stations and expand their reach. The FCC inspector